and welcome to the RPG Blender, where we give lesser played games or forgotten settings the roll the dice they deserve. I'm your host, Game Master George, thrilled to welcome you to the newest Grab Bag Gaming. If this is your first, welcome, and a quick explanation. Every fifth Monday of the month, we take a break from our normal campaign to try out a new system. I pick one I've never played and guide our players through character creation and a completed one-shot adventure. As we're learning as we go, expect some rules errors, but ton of fun along the way. With that out of the way, join us as we enter a new world in RPG Blender's Grab Bag Gaming Don't Rest Your Head, Character Creation. Hello and welcome to the RPG Blender. I'm your host, Game Master. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I never use this part anyway. Why do I even do this every time? I always cut this out. I don't know why, but it doesn't matter, because I'm your host, Game Master George, and today, joining me for this Grab Bag Gaming, we have Craig. Say hello, Craig.
Howdy, howdy.
And we have a newcomer, Audrey. Say hello, Audrey.
Sup, nerds? What's going on?
That is quite a way to introduce yourself on the podcast.
I mean that with so much heart and warmth.
Yeah, that's yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All right, well, these are my victims today for this experience where we are going to be playing a game that none of us have ever played before. I'm going to attempt to walk them through character creation as well as a one-shot adventure of this system. So without any further preamble, let's get started.
I appreciate that you started with attempt. I just want to make that
I
clear.
also like the victim.
Yeah. We're honing in on the
Yeah.
details.
I'm
Yes, of
vulnerable
course.
and I'm sweaty, so. You're just...
So we're primed
good
for
to know.
tabletopping.
Exactly. Here we go.
So, we will be playing Don't Rest Your Head. Have either of you heard of this game before?
If you actually meant to say don't wake daddy, then yes. Otherwise, no.
Not familiar.
Okay, then in that case, I'll give you a little introduction.
Uh-oh.
You can't sleep. It started like that for all of us, back when we were garden variety insomniacs. Maybe you had nightmares, gods know we all do now. Or maybe you just had problems that wouldn't let you get a good night's rest. Hell, maybe you were just over-caffeinated. Doesn't matter. Whatever it was, eventually you got to a point where sleep became a choice rather than a mandate, and then it just dropped off the list. And then, and only then, something clicked. That's when you started noticing the extras. An extra door here or there. An extra window looking out onto a city packed with surplus buildings. Hodgepodge towers standing shoulder to shoulder, roofs angled into one another. Clocks chiming the 13th hour and unfamiliar stars twinkling in the too clear sky. Streets and alleys weren't there before, leading to late-night markets that sold things like laughter and indecision. When you took a long walk down the streets of the mad city, you stopped being a sleeper and started being awake. But that click you heard wasn't from the secret world snapping into place. It was the sound of the nightmares flicking off the safety and pointing a gun at your head. When you crossed over, you became a target. They can smell you now, if they get close enough. The paper boys are closing in, and you'd better pray you don't become a headline. You're chum in the water, my friend, and it's time you got ready for it. Before the clock chimes 13 again. You're going to get tired. More tired than you've ever been before. But mark my words, sleep isn't just off the list now. It's an outright enemy that'll strip away your vitality and leave you vulnerable. There's no going back, and from here on out, there's just one simple rule that must dominate your life. Stay awake. Don't rest your head.
Oh, fuck. All right.
Whoa. All right. Hey, Audrey, it's great having you here. God help us all.
I'll let you know what's going through my head. Always, I
Yeah,
promise.
right.
Wow.
So, this
Nothing
is
to
a
be worried
game
about.
where you play insomniacs. For some reason, you've been staying awake for a very long time, and due to this, your brain has clicked into place, and you are now able to see these cracks in reality to a parallel world that exists alongside of our own. There are dangers within it, but you also have new powers that come with it. So you are these awakened, these newly awakened, and you will be exploring this mad city, perhaps trying to find your way home or something more valuable. So the first thing that we need to do is find out who you are. First question is, what's been keeping you awake? What is the reason why you stopped sleeping? If you go ahead and pull up that Google Drive, you'll see that that is actually the first question on your sheet.
I assume I can't use George's ideas, right? That's not okay.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Okay.
So what is it that troubles you or pressures you into being an insomniac? Are you running from something? Is there a nightmare, substance abuse? What is it that drove you to this state?
All right. So the feel of this game is pretty freaky, pretty trippy.
I tried to get something a little bit of a gentle introduction to
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Feeling-
Really easy.
Mm-hmm. Definitely like that teenage angst mask game that I was talking about earlier. This is it. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Let's see.
Anyone have any thoughts?
No. I think I'm gonna go for mine. I think what's keeping me awake is that, or at least I'll talk it out.
Sure.
Can I have what keeps me awake be that there is a specific? I mean, it's probably anxiety. It's just anxiety, but in general, it's wherever I live in this world, I see neighbors doing things that are just a little off, just a little suspect, and it's enough that I can't pinpoint exactly what's going on, but I'm like overly concerned about that, so I can't stop sort of being I guess a voyeur in that sense, and just as soon as I stop watching,
Rear windowing them.
Yeah.
exactly.
You don't want to miss anything.
Mhm. You're
Exactly.
paranoid.
Yeah.
You're paranoia about.
There we go. It always comes back to paranoia. All right, so there we go. I'm paranoid.
It's a good theme for this game. It's a good thing to work
Oh.
off of.
If only you knew,
All right.
Audrey.
I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna learn right now. Okay. All right. I don't know how too deep of a deep story this would be. Also, do you have any preference in the game, George, to ages, anything like that? Because
Nope. If you want to be young, that's fine. If you want to be old, that's fine. Probably don't be like an 8-year-old kid.
yeah,
Just as
that sounds good. Eight-year-old kids are the worst. Never. So I'm gonna say I'm playing a 15, 16-year-old girl. She's definitely more quiet, definitely more introverted, definitely likes the oddities of life, but I feel like her father might be a cult leader. I don't know if that's too dark, but I'd like the sense that she grows up in this place where she doesn't really know the truth and she's kind of brainwashed into thinking things. And so she's afraid that there have been things happening in the cults and things like she's noticing with her father getting extremely violent, and there's just something not right and she doesn't feel safe. And so I'd like to think that that might have something to do with it. Is that paranoid? No, that's not paranoid. Wait a second. No. Backing that up. She's not paranoid. She is spot on. But
It's
yeah.
very Runaways.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
Cult proximity.
yeah. Oh, I like that. I'll use that. It says
That would freak me the hell out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. Then the next question is something that is unique in this system. What just happened to you? This is not an abstract something that has happened to you in your past. This is literally where your game begins. The scene that you describe here is where we will pick up the game for each of you. So this is the event that is happening right before we begin. So it should be something stressful, something large in your character's life.
Ooh. I don't want to get too deep on you guys. or
No.
too
It's
dark.
good. That's what we want. The name is to drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
No, not to get a cult feel, but we want to be into the game. So
Cool.
do it up. Do it up. You got it. I think you got a good thread line. Do it.
All right.
Can I let her go first?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'm thinking she did something that was very black sheepish of her. Maybe there was someone in the cult who was definitely freaking her out a bit. Maybe it was a woman who she started getting very strange vibes from and felt really, really unsafe around her. And maybe there was a situation where it was just her and this woman, and the woman tried to kill her, and she had to injure this woman really, really bad. I don't know how capable my character would be of killing someone, but I would think that she definitely might have put up a fight in a way that she didn't realize she knew how, saw something really, really just off-putting and ran away.
Okay.
And now she's fleeing that.
Okay. So you're running away from this woman and whatever
Like in the
crazy
cold.
thing.
Yeah, maybe something she just, maybe she didn't seem herself. Maybe it was just something really, really strange and she had no choice but to put up a fight. And she was like, just instinctively like, I have to get out of here. I don't know if this is the best option for me, but I have to leave. I don't feel safe and I'm out of here. She's bouncing.
Okay. I like it.
Cool.
George, can I just grab on her coattails and say I've been watching?
Yeah, do it.
No, you have a separate start. You do not know each other to start this game.
Shit. Okay.
I'm making this
Sorry.
hard on me.
Yeah, you are really. I was like, there's an easy in. I've been watching all this thing. And I see the 16-year-old fending for her life from
Yeah.
like people in robes. But okay, okay. Then if I can't collaborate because George
No.
needs to make it hard and frustrating,
For himself.
then
I'm hurting nobody but me with this.
yeah, exactly. Then obviously, while confined to my home and watching my surrounding environment, probably with my bottles of water and bottles of not water because I can't leave anywhere kind of situation and whatnot as I'm doing my rounds and just watching in my suspicious, anxious, and uncomfortable fashion. I notice one of my neighbors doing a particularly heinous act of cooking people.
Oh my god, I thought just cooking. I thought that was where the period was, but no.
Well,
it's
it takes a
cooking.
while for me to notice as I'm watching the activity, but the ingredients look different, uncomfortable.
The meat
human.
looks so much tastier.
and it just takes a quick moment for me to notice that there's a specific like finger bone or like still like finger itself that's being like tossed into a pan and flipped or something like that.
Now, are we talking suburbia or like apartment in the city?
Suburbia, I think. Okay. Yeah, sort of think like Haddonfield or from Halloween or like Springfield from Nightmare on Elm Street kind of experience.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And what about you? Audrey, where do you see your character living? City, suburbs, rural area?
Jeez, I guess at this point. Well, I guess with the cult, I mean, I'm trying to think what would be best, but I guess it doesn't matter if the cult activity is just kind of tucked away. It doesn't really matter where she's living.
It could absolutely be a backroads town where everybody in that town is involved in this. It could be in the city where it's hiding beneath it.
You get a rider's license.
Yeah.
This is a system where you guys have a lot of creative license.
Okay. All right. Then I'll milk this. All right. I'm feeling the city because I feel like this character is, I don't know, I would really like her to be into oddities. And I feel like the city is a great place to just be open to all these different things. Like if it's someplace like New York City where it's just tons of people just doing their own thing and, you know, her just finding a little niche there where she could get involved in like cool skulls and like hair and dead things and, you know, all that. And there's just something really comforting about that to her as opposed to the mess that she has back home.
Okay, sounds good. Then the next question is, what's on the surface? This is the first impression that your character gives off. What would people think of your character when they first see them?
I think, you know, the girl from the Breakfast Club who doesn't speak at all. And she's like, she has like the black hair and she's just like really like kind of closed off sort of. And just like, do you know who she is?
I don't watch movies.
Okay, wait, I got another one. It's gonna be okay. That's kind of what I was thinking of. Just this girl. Okay. I'll explain.
The description's good enough for me.
Yeah, dark
As
clothes.
long as the viewers get it.
Yeah, dark clothes, really just kind of closed off, maybe reserved, just a little off, and that's okay. Like, she's totally weird, but very
The
lovely.
girl went to school with, and you go to the reunion 10 years later, and you just learned for the first time their name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe she doesn't speak at all, and someone speaks to her, and her eyes have to go like, and she just doesn't know what to say, and she like takes her turtleneck sweater and like kind of hides in it, you know, something like that.
Well, you two are going to be a great pair.
Yeah. Nothing but confidence coming from this group.
Yeah.
My descriptor is insecure and weak, but probably a thin, lanky guy. Probably doesn't look particularly well nourished. Pale complexion, very clean looking outfit. You know, like a button down that's like only got one that's unbuttoned, and maybe one of the sides is not tucked in. The sleeves aren't really matching appropriately. He's got like a watch on. Looks like he almost has it together, but missing a step for whatever reason. Yeah.
I like that. Our characters will be fine. They'll get along fine.
Yep.
I like the fact that his buttons are mismatched. I'm like, cool. I jive with that. I understand you.
Yeah. He's got an identity. He gets it. And I'm like, what?
He's
I missed
against
the button.
grain. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Then the next question is, what lies beneath? What is the part of your character that you don't usually show to the world? What is your true nature?
I think for my character, even though she's very quiet and strange on the surface, I think she's extremely resilient and adaptable. So I don't know if you're looking for those inner qualities, but I'm thinking...
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm thinking that she's very logical, and if she has to work through a situation, she can.
Okay.
And I think for my character, it's probably that he is ultimately, even through his neuroses and uncomfortabilities with the situations around him, that he is scrappy and bold. That once he is, the reason why he lives how he lives, even though it seems to be the antithesis of what any normal human would do, in the sense that his home is pretty much his prison because he doesn't trust anything around him. He's still doing it because he is so unsure of his surroundings, and in that he has confidence in that something is not right.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think we have that in common then. I think that pretty much aligns like a good part. Oh, I'm excited. All right.
Okay. And now, what is your path? This is your character's goals. If your character existed in a vacuum and you were telling their story, how would it end?
Wow.
I mean, probably with him dying. But
Yeah. I mean, they live in a vacuum.
Yeah.
That can't be the best thing for a human.
yeah, this dude is the what is the classic, The Watcher movie or The Watcher film about the guy with the broken leg? It's that guy, except it does not work out right.
But now think about it from his point of view. How does
Okay.
he see his journey ending? Does
Sure.
he see himself dying eventually, or does he see himself correcting these things?
I think
His end goal?
I think probably does in fact see himself dying or suffering or having some terrible result, but he knows he has to do it because the actual thing is alarming everyone else to the reality of what's around him, that there is oddities and dangers living amongst us that people are taking for granted.
Okay.
I don't know if that is actually succinct enough for an answer, but that's what I think.
Yeah,
All
that's fine.
right. For me, so I just to clarify, basically, you just want to know where they think they'll end up, or
Yeah.
based on her overall character, where I think she'll end up, like meta
If
wise.
they were writing their own story, how
Okay.
would they end it?
Got it. I think she wants like this weird fairy tale ending for herself. Like another way maybe to think of her is like she finds herself to be like if she were to imagine or like go to the Renaissance fair or something, she would probably dress up as like a woodland little pixie fairy sort of girl, just super weird, like just super, light and everything. And I think she just wants to live in like a fantasy land. I think she wants to like learn and stay curious about just the weird things in life. And so I don't think she wants to end her life anywhere like in the norm.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Finding a way to embrace the inner weirdness and
Yeah.
I guess accept it and be able to live it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. And the next thing that you're going to do, if you look on your sheet, you'll see a section that says responses. There is fight and there is flight. There are currently 3 little boxes in each of them. However, you will only get 3 boxes total. So what you want to do is think about your character, how they're going to approach these problems where they have the fight or flight reaction. Are they more on the fight or more on the flight? And then spread your 3 boxes across those 2.
Awful.
Oh yeah, this is where it.
Does this worry you?
Yeah. Just kidding. Of course it worries me. Yeah. All right.
Well, and of course, I have to consider, is he like a paranoid glass half full or glass half empty individual, right? Because there's like, they're paranoid when it's like, stay off of my lawn, like throws something at a person and chases them down the block. Or there's like, somebody's there, I need to hide in my basement and stay there for a week.
Yeah. I get that. I'm wondering how my character is going to be too, because I mean, she seems to be terrified of a lot of things, but she also just like attacked a woman and then ran off. So she's got some fight in her.
Yeah, you've defined a little fight. You got at least one point of fight. Maybe
She just hooked her in the face and bolted. I don't know.
But I mean, that might be part of a flight response. This is how I get away, by throwing that one punch and then booking it.
And just off. Yeah, she did a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right, I'm doing it. Doing it.
I'm nervous, but we're here.
Yep, this is happening.
We're too deep in now. Now I'm kind of wishing I made like this totally like beefed up dude, and he's just like, yeah, let's fight everything. And like he goes into this and he takes a can and just beats it against his head, and he's just like, yeah.
Yeah, well.
Next time.
But now you have a character for the next grab bag.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Supernatural? I am supernatural.
As Craig can tell you, I'm not a lethal game master whatsoever, so...
Yeah, okay. He is.
Winks into the camera.
Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe.
He
But this
edits
is
it
what's
in
going to
post,
help you be safe. Your talents. Your character has an exhaustion talent. This is something that people can do, but you are particularly good at. So it could be something like firing a gun, climbing, running, performing calculations. It's whatever your character has, their special talent that sets them apart from other people.
Well, mine is probably attention to detail because that's his whole trap.
Makes sense.
Is that he's stuck observing, watching, and noticing the little things. So,
Right.
Attention to detail. Is that succinct enough, George?
Yeah.
Perception.
Yeah, perception is probably fine.
Very well. Probably. That doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound good at all.
So you can enter that as your exhaustion talent.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Hey, this is gonna. You can X card me if you want, but what if she's like into like knitting things and making things like DIY?
Oh, so crafty. She's crafty.
Yeah, she's beyond crafty though. Like you might get exhausted from making a frame out of itty bitty pieces of skull, but she's not. Like she will go ham at it and she'll sell it on Etsy. Like what if like she's just good at crafting and using her hands and coming up with making things?
Did you say little pieces of skull?
Yeah, she did say
don't
little.
know,
Yeah. She said little
weird,
pieces of
okay?
skull. She definitely did.
She's crazy. My girl's
That's
a
great.
crazy girl. Let her live her life.
Yeah, we're gonna
Hey.
get along well.
Crafting, that is absolutely fine. I mean, these are talents that your character is going to be good at in play. So if you can think of ways to use crafting, which probably will.
Yeah, if the game, I don't know how the game's gonna work, but do you envision us like coming across at least like things that we can pick up and work to like make and something like that? All right,
It
cool,
is
I'll
up.
put-
It is up to us.
Yeah, we're
It's up
gonna
to you
see
guys
how
to
far
find things to work
Right.
with and do what you're going to do. And I mean, crafting, that's not necessarily going to be just I don't know, bedazzling a frame or something like that.
It's more like, because she's into unusual stuff, I can imagine she has to think outside the box to come up with weird things just for herself. And I'm sure that being in a cult, it must be so boring. And so she probably has a lot of time to just get away and chip at doing all these weird things. So I don't know.
Wait,
Crafty and a little
boring
inventive.
cults.
Yeah, exactly. Very inventive, I'm thinking.
Okay, now the next talent is your madness talent. This is something that you gained when you became awakened. When you opened your mind, you gained the ability to embrace the madness of this new world and enact some kind of supernatural ability. You can really define this to be basically anything. This is when the lid comes off and your madness begins to shape the world. You can choose something yourself. I can give you a random one. I can give you some examples if you'd like of horrifying things that other people have come up with. But yeah.
What about
This is-
telekinesis?
Yeah,
Oh, is
telekinesis
she
is
turning?
absolutely it.
Am I turning her into like a Carrie girl? I just realized.
Kind of are.
I think you're
You know what?
11. I think
Yeah.
you're 11.
Yeah,
Or 11.
yeah, or 11. I didn't realize. Sorry for the
That's-
viewers at home. Maybe she's subconsciously in my head. I don't know.
No. It's cool. Everybody can relate. They love the Stranger Things.
Yeah. I like the telekinesis. I could try to think of something else just to make it a little bit
Telekinesis is fine. if
Telekinesis
that's
is
what
a
you would like to have.
perfectly appropriate supernatural power, in my opinion.
cool.
I don't know if this even makes sense. It's probably not even a good power, frankly. But
Not if you're asking that, but okay.
but my thought is, I don't know. This sounds too crazy, but
Hey, Craig.
very well. My character's paranoid means of observing his surroundings and taking in the details and the little things and the things that crack through this other world that blends into ours. His acknowledgement and validity in seeing them pulls them more so into our world than their world, so they actually are omnipresent in both.
Ooh.
So basically, your character is so convinced that these conspiracies or whatever are real that he has the ability to project them into the world through his force of belief.
Yeah, pretty much anchor them for an extent or a
All right.
time
I like
while his belief is at that height.
Ooh, saddle up. We're going to be in for a game.
Okay, now how would you describe that? How would you name that ability?
Anchor of madness.
Sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
As he literally becomes the structural point that allows the second world to fully step and converge into our living world.
Damn, that's a good one. All I thought of was telekinesis.
well.
You
I
can by all
mean,
means change it if you have a different idea that you think would be.
Nah,
I mean,
I'm kidding.
I mean, however, if there is something else about your character that you think might lead to a more supernatural aspect, I mean, for instance, because my dude is nothing but a crazy watcher who thinks nothing is as it is. It's literally like his paranoia convincing him that it is so real that somebody else is now stuck with his delusions, which are not so delusional. So for your character, what would be that? What is her oddity that may or may not have an impact, have a literal impact in the world when you think about her?
So, like, to be honest, I don't mind.
Throw it out there. It's workshopping.
Yeah,
It's workshopping.
Hey,
I kind of like it. Like, I like the idea, and like, obviously, it's been done in movies, but I like the telekinesis because if she's scared of things, but she's still powerful, she just swats them with a brick like a
Right.
couple 10 feet away. So, best of both worlds.
Hell yeah.
I'll take it.
Telekinesis is totally appropriate in the supernatural. Like that's like it's like a classic. It's needed for a reason.
Right.
Makes perfect sense. I dig it.
Yeah. It was just so funny because you came up with this whole thing, and I'm like, damn, I forgot you could just like come up with
Whatever you make of it. I mean,
There
it's
it is.
probably going to be a backfire for us, frankly speaking, but we'll see.
It'll throw us into some lovely conflict.
Yeah,
We'll really full circle. So we'll get ourselves out of this.
Okay, so the way that this system works is you will roll a pool of d6s. On a 1, 2, or 3, the die counts as a success. So you're looking for 1s, 2s, and 3s. You start with a discipline pool of 3. So that means at a base, you'll be rolling 3 dice. As you progress, you may become more exhausted. Your exhaustion, while driving you towards sleep, which is a bad thing, also gives you more power in this world. So for every point of exhaustion you have, you get an extra die. You also have madness. Madness is the impact of this world on your mind and your mind's impact on it. So for every point of madness that you have, you will also get an extra die. Okay?
Nice. All right.
So I'm sorry, just to make sure that I'm on the same page. So we will have an exhaustion point scale and we will have a madness point scale.
So the madness point scale, for the most part, will be temporary until something happens that makes it not so temporary.
And there's no way to get rid of the exhaustion because we can't sleep, or do we have coffee? Or...
There are ways to get rid of exhaustion. They're not easy. They will involve hope and despair, which I will cover when it comes up.
Gotcha.
So when you make your roll, you're going to roll your pool for discipline, exhaustion, and madness separately. And then whatever pool has the highest number showing on it dominates the scene.
Oh, cool. All right.
So if it's your discipline, it pretty much happens the way it happens.
Right.
If it's your exhaustion, you get a little more tired. And if it's your madness, then that's when those responses kick in and you're going to fight or flight. And then, of course, there's a possibility that my dice, the pain dice, have the highest number. That's not a good thing when it happens.
Oh, okay. Now I'm getting excited, though. This is terrifying, but I'm kind of excited. I'm leaning into all this dark stuff. I'm here. I'm living it.
Oh, yeah. We're in it now.
Does anybody have any questions for me before we get started?
Yes. So what are we normally rolling when it comes to us trying to do things?
You will normally roll your 3 dice for discipline.
Okay.
Plus whatever you get in your exhaustion pool, plus your madness pool.
Okay. So right off the bat, we start with just 3 dice, our discipline pool. And then as however the story goes, our madness or exhaustion will fluctuate.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
So, to give you a little more information about what your talents do, the madness talent, you've pretty much described what it does. It lets you do those effects, and when you say the effect that you would like to do with it, I will rate it from a 1 to a 6, and that is how many madness dice you will need to use in that roll.
Cool.
So, the more intense of an effect, the more possible successes you're going to get, but the more likely it's going to be that madness is going to dominate the scene.
Right. Oh, man. Okay.
Okay. Now, as for...
We're so dead.
We already died.
Yeah, we already died. We haven't even started playing the game.
I don't even know your character's name, Craig. I feel so bad.
I don't even know my character's name.
So when you use your talent, your exhaustion talent, the minimum number of successes that you will get is your exhaustion pool. So if you have an exhaustion level of 3, then you will get a bare minimum of 3 successes. No matter what you roll, it's going to be 3 successes at minimum. If you do a major, instead, you gain additional successes equal to your pool. But in order to use a major one, you have to willingly increase your exhaustion pool by 1, which drives you closer to sleep and probably death.
So if you're really, really itching for some success, you can drive yourself closer to sleep, but you'll get a big boost in the process.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna die real fast. Okay, cool. Cool.
It was fun meeting you.
Yeah, this will be a one shot.
Yeah.
This will definitely be
That's-
one shot.
That's what Grab Bag Gaming's all about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Although I don't think I've killed anyone yet in Grab Bag Gaming, have I? Oh, yes, I have. Never mind. I feel good now.
I was
Again.
gonna say, I was like, well, it's gonna be one of us, I'm sure.
Okay.
Got real
so,
close. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
Any other questions before we get to the last and most important step?
Oh shoot.
Ooh, I don't have any questions, but I'm scared. Is that a question or?
The
As
answer
long
is
as you had a
yes.
question mark at the end.
Yeah, I'm scared.
There you go. There you go.
Terrified?
Perfect. Nailed it.
Yeah.
No other questions?
No. Nope.
And what are your names?
Oh, right. Right, of course. Rosalie.
My name is Edwin Kane.
Okay.
Oh, do we need a last name?
I don't know. Do we?
Okay. Then if there's no other questions, I guess the last decision to be made is who would like to start? Thank you so much for taking the time to enjoy our show. Come back tomorrow for the next part of this one-shot adventure. Meanwhile, if you're ready for a live experience, follow our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/RPGBlender. And if you missed our past live episodes or are interested in some RPG tutorials, find us on YouTube at The RPG Blender. If you want to stay up to date on our releases, you can join our new Discord. Check the description for a link. Don't have Discord? No worries, find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at RPG Blender, or subscribe on your podcast app of choice. Music is The Punk Rock Show by My Free Mickey, copyright 2012, licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution License. Thank you again, and remember, there's gaming outside the Forgotten Realms.